Hi, hello, what's up? My name is Tina, and for those who are new here, welcome to this little corner of internet. This is a late February wrap-up. I know, but I had kind of a full week last week, and we cannot always escape life. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. I've read 4 novels in February and some mangas, and the first one being the month of the romance because of Valentine's Day. And I'm sorry if you can hear noises, my cat is playing and there's work going on in the neighborhood, so you'll hear noises, I think. I'm sorry for that. So for the month of romance, because of the 14th of February, for sure, the Valentine's Day, I've read 2 contemporary romances, and the first one being Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I've heard so much from her and from her books that I needed to know what the fuss is about, and I can get it. I gave this book 4 stars. The story is about Alexis Montgomery, who is a doctor, ER doctor in a hospital, and she has a legacy upon her shoulder because all her family has been like founders, doctor of the hospital. She needs to be the best. She needs to carry on her legacy, but her brother went to Cambodia and she has to carry this legacy alone, and her father is rather strict about it, her mother too, and she just got out of a toxic relation with her ex Neil. She's not doing great basically, and back from a funeral she got her car in a ditch and she meets Daniel from Wakam. And not saying too much about it, but if you want a cute story about 2 people from very different worlds. I love the fact that in this book some very heavy topics were discussed, such as abusive relationship, domestic violences, and that the main character was a strong female character. I love that about it, but also the writing was sometimes not really my cup of tea because it was focused on muscles, you know. I did have a great time reading it. I giggled, and I loved the character of Brie, the best friend of Alexis. I don't know if it's pronounced well, Alexi. Don't know about that, but I really loved how caring and kind was Daniel also, and he has a baby goat. It worked super well. I'm leaning toward the 4.5, I don't know, but I think that the end was a bit predictable and that the writing was kind of easy sometimes, so I don't know. It's much more for now a 4 stars, but maybe when I'll reread it someday I'll give it 4.5 stars. If you want an easy romance, not thinking too much about it, and having very sane and healthy characters, that's for you. Next, I read another contemporary romance, and it is Open Water by Caleb Azuma Nelson, which is a book I've heard so much about too. I kind of have it on my TBR for I think 2 or 3 years now because of Jock Edwards, and I get why. I gave it 4.75 stars. This is a short book about 2 black people in London, 2 artists, 1 photographer and 1 dancer, and the 2 of them met, and from there a relationship develops between them, but a very complex one, which makes it so human. And race is discussed in such an educational but lyrical way in this book, but also in a very brutal way sometimes. That was so interesting to have, and that I'm not used to read from such an educational book, at least for me, and needed. I think it's a needed book about 2 young people in their 20s having, especially for the main character, identity crisis issues about and surrounding race because he's black, and how he's perceived by others, and how he is behaving with others, and how he's really deep inside of him. So interesting and so complex, but also my brain, as I've said in my blog, was not working 100% because I was kind of tired, and this is written in such a lyrical prose kind of poetic way that sometimes I couldn't grab what the author meant because it was very lyrical, and because English is not my first language, sometimes when it's lyrical I struggle a bit. But if your first language is English, then I think you will be able to grab fully the extent of this beautiful writing, which was not my case. I had to reread the sentences 2 times sometimes because of the fact that it was not fluid for me. I had to ponder on what was the sense of the sentence, what was the sense of some words, but overall, so beautiful, so educational, so needed. This is a book that is so needed, and the end, just, yeah, still thinking about this book, and it's super short. So yeah, so impactful, but also struggled with the second person point of view. It's written in an omniscient way, but rather you seated and looked at her, you talked to which is not a thing I'm used to reading books. A bit confusing at first, but really unique, so I cannot recommend this enough to you. So impactful and needed. And this is the debut novel of Caleb Azuma Nelson, which is quite impressive also. Next, because my goal is to try to complete more series before going to Japan, I've read the sequel of One Dark Window, which is Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig, and I loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars because I loved to be reunited with the characters. I don't know if you know the story, but this is rather a unique world building based upon a deck cards that are magic and a mist around the kingdom that is making people sick with magic, but the kind of magic the king doesn't want. So he has destroyers to hunt for the people who are sick with magic. And we have a main character that was ill with this sickness, but she didn't know what magic she got, and she was hidden by her aunt because her father is the head of the destroyers from the king. This is still as good, still as entertaining. As I've said, loved to be reunited with the characters, especially because we have the point of view of kind of secondary characters from book 1, even though it is not yet a favorite, because even though the world building is rather unique, as I've said, the end, everything resolved and unfolded in a predictable way. It's not Robin Hood, you know what I mean? It's just a good series you can read to be entertained. I don't have any quote I wanted to underline. I'm not in awe by it. It's just I did have a great time. I don't have to justify myself over the fact that it's just not a favorite, but it's, yeah, a good YA, but not a favorite. And I think that I still prefer the first one because we have more of Robin and Elspeth. I enjoyed them both almost equally, but the first one a little bit tiny bit more. Next, I've read A Room with a View by E.M. Forster. This is a classic romance book about Lucy Honeychurch, who goes to Florence with her cousin who is chaperoning her, and there she meets 2 men, a son and his father, and her world is turned a bit upside down. This book is so interesting because this is about the clash of social worlds set in the Edwardian era of England, because she's going back in England after that. And this is discussing rather important matters such as the freedom of women, basically, and how it is seen at this time. So I really enjoyed this book. At first I felt that it was going to be a 3.5, 3.75, but I think it's rather a 4 stars, because when they are traveling in Florence, I was not fully immersed in the world. I was waiting for the author to make us smell, to make us feel like we were there in Florence. I was really waiting for a journey myself, but I didn't feel like I was in Florence with them because I was lost sometimes. I couldn't really situate myself in time and places, and I couldn't understand at first. I had a hard time understanding who was who and why their relations. And when they're back in England, that's the part I preferred in a way, because we were back at the social conventions, and how it worked and what problems the main character Lucy was facing and how she behaved. And I kind of love her. She really was endearing, and what was happening to her was really entertaining also, and rather educational about the period of time she was living in. But also things were happening so fast sometimes, the way the events were told. I don't want to say too much, but I'm not sure you're gonna read this soon, but there is, for example, a murder scene, and it happens so quickly. I know that in real life murder are happening very quickly, or not. I don't know that. I murdered no one, okay? I didn't understand what was happening, and I don't know if it is the aim of the author to convey how the character was feeling also. Yeah, no. Despite the fact that it was very interesting, it didn't work for me. I didn't connect with this book, and that's okay. That's okay. We cannot connect with every book we read, but I still enjoyed to read it, and that's still 4 stars. That's still good, okay? It's just not my favorite. I have an example to illustrate how beautiful it was written. I quote, "This desire to govern a woman, it lies very deep, and men and women must fight it together. But I do love you surely in a better way than he does," he thought. "Yes, really in a better way. I want you to have your own thoughts, even when I hold you in my arms." Which is so cute, I love it, but also, I don't know, it felt distant. I felt so distant from this book. I have such mixed feelings about it, but yeah, that's how I feel, and that's okay. That's what happens when I didn't really prepare enough my reviews. I'm rambling because I want to go with my guts and my feelings and emotions, and so I disperse myself. I'm rambling. So yeah, these are the books I've read this month, and I've read also some mangas, so let's just go through them. Of course, every month, you know it. I've read volume 21 of Fiona of the Dawn, and we have some moments from the love interests. I love it. It's so slow burn romance, but that's my favorite. I'm addicted to this. And the plot is moving on a bit. The last issue resolved, and it will open on some other adventures for sure. I gave this one 5 stars. I loved it. Can't wait to read the 22nd. I don't know how I'm gonna do in Japan. I'm gonna read them online, I think, because I don't want to buy them on my Kobo and buy them physically. It's twice money, especially while traveling. I shouldn't do that. So maybe I'll just read them on internet for free and ask my boyfriend to buy them for me in France, because I will not be able to buy them all when I'm gonna be back home. So maybe that's what I'm gonna do. That's the strategy for now. Next, another series that is beginning to be one of my favorite. It's A Sign of Affection Volume 2. Itsumi and Yuki are, it's so cute, and the tension between them in this volume, I cannot. This is the story of Yuki, who is meeting a boy, and she's deaf, so she has a disability, but he's treating her as anyone, and she's surprised by that. So they kind of start to hang on together, and he wants to learn the sign language in Japanese, and this is just so cute. This is just so cute. I cannot handle it. Yeah, at first I didn't really know what kind of guy Itsumi was. It still is kind of ambiguous, but we know a bit more of him, and he's so cute. He's so cute. I cannot, yeah. I want to read the 3rd volume so badly. I'm gonna buy it this week and read it ASAP. Next, I read volume 14 of Vagabond, which is the story of one of the characters when he was a baby, how he grew up. And this is, yeah, I enjoyed it. Not my favorite volume, but I still enjoyed the story, and this was quite interesting also. We learned more about some living conditions in the countryside in the Edo era, so I gave it 4 stars. Next we have volume 3 of Sasaki and Miyano, and this one I have mixed feelings about it because something happened and something feels off, you know, when things are changing because one of the characters are behaving differently. So we'll see. I still enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it less than the first 2. I giggled so much for the first 2, and this one not really, so yeah, but still continuing it for sure. I gave this one 4 stars. Next we have the Apothecary Diaries volume 3, and still loving this. There are still some mysteries going on that the main character has to resolve about people who are kind of poisoned, and she has to save them and discover how it happened and why. The main character, Mao Mao, is still so funny. I love her relationship with Jinshu. I'm not really a huge fan of the miscommunication trope usually, but this one is really well done between Jinshi and Mao Mao. They are so funny, and she's always bothered by him, which is so funny. So yeah, still loving this one and can't wait to continue this series for sure. Finally, last but not least, I adore this expression. Monster volume 2. This one is really a big chunk. There are so many dialogues, which makes it even more enjoyable. I love it. I spent 3 days reading it in the morning with my coffee, and this was perfect to start the day. This is a thriller mystery about a surgeon, a Japanese surgeon who went to Germany to make a career, but he got himself in a rather delicate situation, and you follow him from there. And the second volume is still as good, I think even better. What more can I say, because I don't want to give too much about the story, and after the first volume usually give too much. Cannot wait to read the next volumes. Also, there are some colors in this edition, the deluxe one, perfect one, I don't remember. It was such a good reading month for the manga. I love the mangas I'm reading this year. I love the adventures he's going through and the people he's meeting on his way. Naoki Urasawa is a genius, according to me, to depict very different people coming from different social backgrounds and being deep. Within a few pages, you attach to them. That's crazy. So I love this one. Really love this one. So yeah, guys, that's it. I'm not gonna hold you for too long, even though I would love it. But that was the books I've read in February. I'm gonna try this month to read as much books as possible, because I cannot bring my physical books with me in Japan. It's gonna be too heavy, and I want to walk around. I want to be able to feel free to move on from cities to cities without having a burden, without having 2 suitcases. I want to bring a backpack with me, so I don't want to carry on heavy books, which is gonna be a big challenge, a big challenge, as I'm gonna have less and less time to do that because of all the things I have to do and people I have to see before going. It was a rather good month. Not new favorite for novels, but new favorite for manga, so I'm really glad about that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you always, guys, for clicking, for watching till the end. I hope to see you on the next video, and tell me about your favorite reads of this month, if you were able to read a book or not, and if you've read any of the books I've read and what you thought about it. I would love to know, so please comment, and see you on the next one. Bye!